So, welcome back. In the last video, we we discussed what is Portainer, and we are able to learn what Portainer is and how it can help in um, continuous application management and orchestration. And at the end of the video, we are able to set up our Portainer using our Ubuntu machine installed with Docker. With Docker. So in this video, we are going to spin up our first uh, Docker container. That is, we are going to see how we can use Portainer to launch or to manage a Dockerized application or a Docker container. So this is where we stopped in the last video. And so I'm going to click on the local one on my local machine, and I'm going to click on containers. Okay, you can see we only have one container that is running, which is the Portainer. So at the very top right, you see the icon that says add container. So I'm going to add container. And what name am I going to give to my container? So I want to call this container web server. Okay, let me call it web server. And then what type of container do I want to run? In this example, I want to run an Nginx application. Nginx is a web application that you can use for, as a web application or as a proxy or reverse proxy. So I'm going to be using Nginx. And so if you look at it here, under image, it's asking me which of the image of this container do I want to run. And this image is going to be automatically pulled from the public Docker registry, which is the Docker Hub. So here I want to use Nginx latest. That is, I want to use Nginx and I want to use the latest version. Nginx can come with different one, okay? And if you look at it here, it says what? You are currently using an anonymous pool. And so you are only allowed to do what? 100. What is he saying here? Because I did not log in with a specific image registry. So it's telling me that it's going to be pulling this image from the public registry, and I'm only allowed to pull 100. Okay. So now that I've put in the name of the server and I put the image that I want to use, you can go ahead here and click search if you want to start search for an image. But I know what I want to use, so I'm just decided to use Nginx latest. And so we need to put in the port. On what port do we want to manage this? So if you look right down here, I'm not going to, let's leave webhook and network for now. So I'm going to click on what? Map additional port. And so we have the host port and the container port. You can see this is where this is getting more interesting. If you are working on command line, a lot of people struggle with which port is the container port and which one is the host port. So people struggle to know which one comes first, but here it is, clearly spelled out in graphical visuals where you know which port is which. So Nginx run on port 80, so definitely the container port has to be port 80. But the host can be any port, and that will be the port on your Ubuntu machine. So in this case, let me use port 80. Let me use port 8081, port 8089. That's what I choose to use. It could be any port, it could be an arbitrary port. If you did not put any port, then Portainer will randomly pick a port for you. Now that I've put in the port, then and it is a TCP port, I'm going to go down here. We also have access to what? For access restriction. I can decide to what? I can switch it off so that there will be no access. I can turn it on so that I can actually choose as an administrator, which I'm going to use in this case, or I can use a restricted where I can give access to those who have restriction. But in this case, I'm going to be going with what? With administrator. And I'm going to click on what? Deploy container. And you're going to see it within a few seconds. You can see it is loading at the top here. If you look right here at the top and you see what? Successful. If you look at the top right, container successfully created. And what do you see? You have an Nginx web server, which is running on port 8080. Now, if I want to access it now, I will go and take the IP address of my of my IP address of my Ubuntu machine, and on port what? Port 80. If I click enter, sorry, it's taking me back here. Sorry, I decided to use this. Let me come here. I'll put the IP address. Let me use http / port 80. I think that is what I have, port 80. I don't want you to go back to that place. Okay, port 80. I hope port 80 is open. Yeah, I don't know why it's not coming up. Let me go there again. Port 80. We can click directly from here. I'll tell you why it will not work, and I will show you how to fix that. If you click on it, you can see it's picking 00 instead of the IP address. We are going to fix that in our feature video. So this should be port 8089. I think that's what I use. And you can see I have what? Nginx server. So this is the landing page of Nginx server. So you can see that easily you can what? You can spin up a container and we can access it. Now in the next video, we are going to show why we can just click from here, because if you click from here, we are supposed to open it. But you can see that it's pulling 0.0.0.0 as the IP address. And we are going to address that in our next video. Now let's go ahead and pull another container again. In this case, I want to go into my Docker Hub and choose a container. So this is my Docker Hub. You can see I'm logging here with my username. So I'm going to go here into my hub and let me see if I have any. Okay, let's look at this this image of web app. It has a lot of version. That is version 38. Let us see what is contained in it. This is the Docker file, and this is exposed. You can see the application is exposed on port 8080. So let's go ahead now. Let's copy this. This is the image. Let's go to back to our container. I want to add another container. What is the name? This time is what? Web app. And what is the name of the image? That is what I just covered. I'll put it here. Now, if you are using a private, Docker registry, it's going to ask you for authentication or your credential to sign in. Okay, we are going to talk about that. But this is my Docker registry is a public registry, and that is why it's not asking for authentication. So here now I've put it there, and I need to come here and confirm the port, and it is what port 8080. Can we just check that again? It is exposed on port what? Where is it? Port 8080. Okay. So I'm going to go back here and put it as so it's exposed on port 8080. So we have to, which one is what? Here will be what? Port 8080. Port 8080. And that we can also leave this, we can still leave this one as port 80. Don't forget that you can have the same port on your container because they are different containers. But you cannot have the same port on the host because there's only one port 8080 on your Linux machine. So if you use port 8080 for one container, you cannot use it for another container. So I'm using port 8080 here, and I think that is okay. So I will go ahead and deploy the container. Let us see if it's going to be able to pull it. I don't know if that image is still valid. I've not used it for a very long time. You can see it's over 10 months. If you go back here, you can see the image is almost, let's go back to the image. You can see the image 4 months ago. I'm not sure if that image is still available, but let's see. Let's go back. Okay, the image is running, and it's running a web app, and they pull from my Docker registry, and it's running on port 8080. I believe port 8080 is open on my computer, so I'm going to pick up the IP address again, which is this, and I'm going to run it on port 8080. Let us see if we have the image. This time, port 8080, and I run it. I'm not sure if that, okay, yeah, maybe the application is not available, or let's give it a little minute. Sometimes application might take a few minutes to come up. So let's see. Port 8080. I'll refresh it. Yeah, it may not be working. Okay, so what I just want to pass across here is I'm able to spin up. You can see I was able to pull the image from my Docker registry, and I was able to spin it up in less than 2 minutes. So this is the power of Portainer. It can help you to spin up, container and manage it. We are still going to discuss a lot on how to manage this container, how to log into the container, how to check the logs, how to interact with the container. We are going to be doing all of those. So I just want to refresh for the last time. Yeah, I don't think it's exposed here. I think it was exposed on port 80. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not coming on. Let me try once again. Let me do HTTP colon port 8080. That is where it is. So, okay, it won't come up. So I don't know. Probably the image has an issue. So, but what is just important, what we want to have here is we are able to spin up this machine, this container within a second. So that is how it is, how easy it is. Now, in the next video, we are going to talk on how can we click under the publish port. We should be able to click on it like here now, Remember this one was running as Nginx. We should be able to click here, and it should be able to open us directly to the container. But now it is not doing it, because if you look at the IP address, it is what? Pulling the 0.01. So we need to fix that, and we're going to do that in the next video. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you.